Hello, everybody. It is me, Pacific. I was thinking about this before I went to bed last night. A viewer wrote in and says, "What date site would you recommend?" And he noticed that some date sites were just full of problems. And I started thinking I was going to write him back, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a video. I think a video would be better than writing him and just say, here's my link. Watch this. I've been on quite a few dating sites. Match.com, Craigslist, Zeus, and I forgot the names of countless others. Mate One, that's what got me to Hong Kong. The problem with a dating site is anybody can write anything they want. A lot of people don't post their picture, and a lot that do post a picture when they looked really nice, but it's not their current one now. I found that after all the years of being on dating sites that it yielded nothing. The actual number of people I've talked to that told me that getting on a date site where it was successful led to marriage and a good, healthy relationship, out of hundreds of people, one. But they weren't without their problems. I know a guy in Spokane, Washington that I drove school bus with. He met his wife in a Yahoo chat room. I said, how's that working? Oh, we get along great. I thought, well, at least in a chat room, people are pretty much themselves in a chat room. One thing I noticed in the Yahoo chat rooms when they were open is a lot of the women in there, they kind of let it all hang out, so do the guys. Literally. So at least nobody's surprised in there. But I started thinking about American women. Black, Hispanic, white, those three, and their posts, their profiles. I started comparing them to going to a used car lot. Here's what I came up with. 1966 Lincoln. Body rough, upholstery shot, doesn't steer straight, tires are bald, has a hard time starting. Not a car you're going to take on long distance trips. And it smokes really bad. I thought, and then you look at the price tag, $25,000. And it says, can be restored. This is a rare gem. And I thought, that's just like the women posting their ad. Body rough. I mean, if you were to look at most of the posts of these females that post and compare it to a used car, it's like they're all lemons. Viewers have been writing me, and collectively my mind's been forming more and more, watching, observing, that when a woman hits her 30s and 40s, she's dang near wrecked. You've got damaged goods. And it's funny, a lot of these women, you look at the price tag and you're like, $25,000 for that? Are you serious? The analogy there is they want this perfect man, so nobody can buy that, and everybody's going, why would I pay that much for that piece of junk? What's sad is even if that car were $200, you got to do so much work to it. When it comes to people, you can't restore people like you can restore automobiles. You can reupholster the seats, you can put new tires on it, you can sand the body and repaint it, and you can tune up the engine. You can't do that with people. People say, oh, you can heal some. No, I can't heal anybody. I could speak truth. Somebody could state that truth, and they can do something with it. But in our culture today, how many women are taking truth? How many are listening to truth? How many want to hear truth. For us guys, now I've seen gambling. When I was in Macau and I was with the lady I ran over there to meet, we went walking through a place called the Venetian. Big casino. And I watched people. And when I was a kid, my dad went to Nevada, and I remember the old one-armed bandit slot machines. Pull the handle. Cherry, cherry, and a bell. Now they got music. You pull the handle and ding 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 bell, cherry, apple, nothing. And I started thinking, we men are guilty of pulling that thing over and over and putting our money into it. Ching, man, I'm not getting it. Ching, then you finally hit one. Ding, 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 ding. Cherry, cherry, cherry. Jackpot. Blah, 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 blah. And $1 in nickels comes out. That's it. $1 in nickels. I don't gamble, but I watched my dad gamble when I was a kid. And we had a toy slot in the house, and it was always that way. Pull the handle, cherry, cherry, and a bell. Cherry, bell, cherry. Very hard to get them all lined up. And I started thinking, you know, I don't mean to be rude, but I did. I went to Craigslist just for humor last night. The ad was flagged. I flagged it. Many others flagged it because I should have saved it. I should have copy and pasted it, put it on my screen, minimized the UCam here, and read the ad in its entirety to you. You guys would have been amazed. This was written by a woman, and when you read the ad, she was putting down all the males out there. It was in the Women Seeking Men. It says, why is my ad getting flagged all the time? It's truth. She said, you men post over and over and can't get a date. You can't get a date because you're this, you're that, and you got LDS, little DICK syndrome. It was nasty. It was loaded with profanity, the F word, and all kinds of problems. And you know what kills me? This woman was bitter, angry, was on and on. I wrote her back and I said, classic angry feminist, do you really think you're going to get a date? Well, it had been flagged, so it was undeliverable. I really wish I had read it in its entirety, swear words and all. This is the kind of women we're dealing with in our culture. I wanted to think that all these women that use profanity, and lots of it, I thought, this car will not pass emission testing. Dirty. When you look at profiles, they work. They work. They work because you see the photo. Oh my gosh, she's pretty. Read the profile and read it carefully, guys. And you'll find the same common denominator every time. Attitude, entitlement, high maintenance, stuck up, thinks more highly of herself than she ought. Why do we keep pulling the handle and even wasting our time and casting our pearls before swine? Because that's what they are. They're pigs. I'm not talking that they're all obese. Some of these women are very hot looking. They're pigs. Why would you men lower yourself to even write and respond to their profile? They're not going to write you back. They're going to laugh at your picture and they're going to go, what dating site does Pacific recommend? The old-fashioned one. Go to work, go to the grocery store, linger in the produce section, go to the laundromat, meet people in your world. Somebody told me a good place to meet women is in the produce section of a grocery store. I don't know if that's true. I've never really tried it. I go into Walmart these days most of the time. Forgive me for yawning, I just woke up. People go into the store and people are so busy today that they don't linger much. But still, on occasion, you can get a woman who smiles at you and goes, gosh, This fruit looks really bad. Yeah, I know. And it's not even on sale. And they may be interested and they may not. It's harder to meet people face to face. But don't be forced into the culture, pop culture way of doing things today that, hey, you want to meet somebody, get online. You will spend hours and hours and hours. That's just to build the profile. Because when you think about it, how are you going to sell yourself? And why do you got to sell yourself? You're not a used car. You're a human being. Women and men are guilty. They look at those pictures. Nah, I'm not into that. I'm not into Lincolns. I'm not into Plymouths. I'm not into Chevettes. Whatever. Anybody remember the Chevy Vega? Man, that was an interesting car. The Ford Pinto. The AMC Hornet, Gremlin, and Pacer. Wow. The Pacer was a fishbowl on wheels. When we look at profiles, they're reflective of how low our culture has sunk. I'm also going to talk about black women in this video because I was thinking about black women. There's so many that I see that are beautiful, slender, good-looking, pretty faces. And then they open their mouth and they reveal their ghetto mentality. I think black women don't do justice themselves when they act and talk like this. I work in a break room where most of the black women are ghetto, foul, considering themselves alpha females. And I think, man, what guy married these? Most of these women are not married. They're older than me. They're overweight. And I'm sorry, but they sit around eating chicken all day and sitting there BSing at the table and just bitter and angry and everything's racism. And I sit there and go, you know what? And misery loves company. There was a girl that talked to me the other day at the other terminal that these black women are so bitter. Most of them are overweight. They saw that she was talking to somebody else in the terminal that they didn't like, and they said, maybe you ought to not sit here. You need to go sit by your friend because we don't like her. In other words, you're friends with her now? We don't want anything to do with you. You know what's sad? The other day on an excursion, a black woman I talked to who was very good looking, we were all talking about dating and this and that. She goes, I'm tired of a lot of black men won't date us black women because they say we all got an attitude. And I almost said, well, you guys do. And even she did. And then she started saying that she won't date a bus driver even though she's one because he's got to make more money than her. Boy, that's nice. You're 30 years old. You got a 3-year-old daughter. And you think you're going to have some guy swoop you off your feet? You're good looking. But how many guys are going to want to take on your daughter and you, especially with that high maintenance attitude of yours? And then she added, I got to go after a guy that, has something to offer me. That something to offer her was not love, was not tenderness, not kindness, not passion, not the things I'm looking for in a woman. It was his wallet. And I looked at her and said, wow, you're just like a lot of women. You're after money, not love. She didn't protest anything I said. The other driver sitting in her driver's seat said, well, love's in there. I said, but not really. I said, in this day and age, it takes two. My experience is watching black women is that it is very tough. Lady told me also, black males have no problem dating white women, but if they see one of their sisters with a white man, they're all going, hey, what are you doing with him? You know what I find interesting? Is the double standard there. I have found that in Denver, it is rare to see black women with white males. I was like, wow, this city really is pretty racist, pretty segregated still. But a lot of black women that I've admired, they don't do justice to themselves. They got a lot of drama queen stuff going on. Most that I see today are obese. A lot of them have body odor, which is horrible. And I think, who would want to date them now? You see a lot of these teenage black girls, they're already wrecked out of the gate. Foul, in your face defiance. I see it on the bus. There's one gal who moved from Virginia. 5'8", tall, very pretty. Dresses in the cutest outfits. She talks to me almost every day, and I think, wow, she's not like most of the other black women I know. She's polite, manners, quite classy looking. I think, gosh, I wish I could find a gal in my age bracket like that that was interested in me. But back to dating. We guys need to stop playing the dating slot machine. When I was considering quitting and leaving the internet, one of the things that hit me was how much time it takes to do stuff, to check emails, to do this. I mean, you're almost a slave to it. Well, you get on a dating site, it's the same thing. I was pre-trip inspecting my bus the other day. I was in the middle of the bus, and a woman came up that I work with. I put the window down. I said, hey. She said, I'm ready to give up on the Plenty of Fish site. She goes, it's a joke. I said, you're spending a lot of time on there still, aren't you? She goes, yes. She goes, they're game players. She said, it's just a letdown. I said, Debbie, I've gotten off the dating sites. They are truly a waste of time. I said, I had to learn the hard way with Hong Kong and come back to the States. I said, they've become so picky. I said, it's impossible to meet the requirements of most women. And I said, you're finding out a lot of men are just after. She goes, they're all after sex. And it's true. There's a lot of idiot males on the dating sites looking for one-night stands. Well, no offense, women, but a lot of you did that to yourselves. What man in his right mind wants to get involved in a long-term relationship with today's women? I'm sorry, why do I want to buy a 1966 Lincoln, body rough, smokes, bald tires, upholstery ripped, car doesn't steer straight? Why would I want that sitting in my yard? It's an eyesore. It's embarrassing. No offense, but a lot of you women on those date sites are just like that. I thought of pulling that slot handle a little bit chunky, curvy, fat. Ding, ding, ding. Fat, fat, fat. Jackpot. I looked at the dating ads yesterday, and they all try to make themselves sound so much better than they are. I'm a little bit curvy, or I have curves in the right places. Like, boy, they just can't say the word. I'm obese. I'm tired of the obese women on dating sites. On Craigslist, that's the 99.9 percentile of women available for us men. And they've all got an attitude. If you're looking for friends with benefits or one night stand, just move along. Blah, 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 blah. Honey, I don't think they want even a one night stand with you. Unfortunately, there's such desperado males out there that they're even looking at them with lust. Dating sites have become a toilet, a urinal, and it's all just a waste of time. I know there are viewers who write me and say, well, yeah, I know there's exceptions, but the exceptions are so minuscule and so few compared to the whole. How much of our life, guys, are we devoting to these dating sites? What is the yield? It's like investing in the stock market. If you keep investing in a company and you see no returns on it, what are you doing plunging your money in it? Same thing with these women and these dating sites. Why are you investing your energy and your dignity and putting yourself out before swine to be rejected and ignored. Women that don't post their photos and demand that you send a pic, no reply. No pic on post, no response. Guys are still stupid. They'll read that post, then you do send your picture, and then that one chance that the woman does respond, and then she sends you a picture and she's 300 pounds. Great. Why couldn't I have seen that at first? No offense, women. I don't want a 300-pound woman. I don't care how nice you think you are. No thanks. When a woman hits her 30s, even now in her late 20s in America, I've noticed a trend. They're wrecked. They have nothing to offer. Baggage and drama and attitude. There's no passion, there's no love, there's no sweetness. And we men have been so conditioned that we still chase those women now because we don't want to be alone. Guys, it's better to be alone than to be with a woman like that. I don't recommend any dating site. I can honestly say that I think dating sites are a waste of time. Women have the upper hand on them every single time. For every woman that puts a post out there, there are goo-gobs of men that will respond to it. So she's overwhelmed. The nice guy's going to get lost because she opens her inbox and there's 50 responses in one day, especially if she's attractive. From balding men to older men to men that she is not going to be interested in. And by the time she gets your emails, she'll go, gosh, there's so many emails, and she'll just delete them all. For every man that posts, the numbers drop significantly for women responding to a man's profile. It is a woman-dominated world. Their egos are up there anyway, even the fat chicks, the girls that have no physical beauty whatsoever. It is appalling. Why are we casting our pearls before swine? I'm getting to know people at work because I get to see them every day. I watch their attitude, I watch their work ethic, and I'm going, nope. Dating sites are smoke and mirrors. When I met the Filipina online, I'm going to tell you something. Her profile was very simple. I want a man who's close to God. That pulled me in, as well as her picture. She was cute. As I got to know her, I found that she wasn't close to God at all. She was quite shallow in the faith. She had become a Christian in Singapore. She went to church, but actual daily Bible reading, none. Getting deep into theology, never. When I went to Hong Kong, I was so enamored with her exotic beauty and my own insecurity in America, and thinking, here's a woman who really likes me. And my 2 weeks over there, the woman was cold, demanding, would let go of my hand in public and walk off the ferry without waiting. All the body language, everything seemed to say, this woman is a teenager, is a 46-year-old Filipina. She is rude. And I watched the way she walked and put her shoulders back and her long hair. And I was guilty thinking, that's kind of sexy. She's got a little bit of that biatch thing going on. And then I look back and go, but she was doing that towards you. She did not love me. The body language was clear. I was less than her ideal. Sorry, the thick glasses. She wanted some handsome, Don Juan to come in and swoop her off her feet. When I broke up with her, 3 months went by. When I came back to the States, my first 2-week stint, 1 week in Hong Kong, 1 week taking her to the Philippines. Her family was very nice to me. Unfortunately, when I was there, several of the young Filipinos, the males, started coming on to me. It took me years to learn there was a huge problem of homosexuality and lesbianism in the Philippines. It is running through the Philippines like a fire on a California mountainside with Santa Ana winds. Not sure why, but it is out of control. A lot of the Filipino males were nice. The woman I pursued was not. And the sad thing is, I got back to Washington. I ended it. I cried all over the phone. I was a blubbering fool. She cried. I just want to have one more conversation with you before we say goodbye. It was all drama, drama, drama. Very similar to the Hispanic women. 3 months went by. I got a job at the call center. I had been online. I had discovered the world of cams and chatting and started finding women out there and talking to them, and even hooked up with the one who was Muslim from Indonesia. We chatted. She wasn't married yet. 3 months go by, and this Filipina calls me when I get off my shift. Come home, I answer the phone without even, there's no caller ID on number from Hong Kong. I hear her voice, and I broke. Because in my insecurity, even still, this pathetic guy casting his pearls before swine, I was still enamored with her beauty, and I thought I loved her. She goes, I miss you, and she started crying. I fell for that. Maybe I did misunderstand her. But when I look back now, 3 months went by. 3 months? She had gotten back on the dating site. I found out later. Men talked to her, but most of them were in their 60s, and they just wanted to come over there and get laid. She didn't hook up with any of the guys. She suddenly realized I was the only one who was seriously interested in her. I should have been smart enough to know that when she had me connected with her best friend's husband, who I get along with to this day, who's a white guy, retired. And when I called, she answered the phone. Now, the woman, the Filipina, they were both Filipinas. They both worked in Singapore. They were friends for 20 years. Pretty long time to be friends, very close. Oh, hi, Pacific. It's so good to hear you. I'm so glad, Beth. I told Beth you need to get on a dating site so you can come to America. Could you repeat that one more time? No, I didn't say that. Look at her body language when you took her to the Philippines. Look at her body language when you were in Hong Kong. She didn't love you, dude. She was using you as a ticket. She got a ticket to ride, and she don't care. Oh, yeah. I was way off key. I know that. You know what? Dating sites can cost you your heart. The Bible says to guard your heart. Now some women take that to extremes. It's funny. There's a black woman at work. She's a Jehovah's Witness. I had an interest in her because she's good looking, but the more time I spent talking to her, she's an absolute contrary pain in the butt. Not just her religion. I don't want anything to do with the Jehovah's Witness faith. But you ask her a simple question. Where are you from? The United States. She will not answer any questions about herself. When I got to talking to her, the more I talked to her, I thought, this woman really thinks she's perfect. I said, have you ever sinned? She said, yeah, I took a pen once. It was by accident. I put it in my pocket, and I realized I had taken that which was mine. I said, is that all you've ever done? Yeah, that's all. I'm like, no wonder she ain't going to trust Jesus Christ as God, her Savior and Lord, because she feels she's pretty perfect. Every single woman that I work with at the break room that drives, it's a paraprofessional, every one of them are loaded with so many problems. The Filipina, she was cute. Everybody thought we were a couple because we always sat at the same table. She used to have me massage her shoulders and her hands. We'd talk together, laugh. She'd always punch me in the arm. And I thought, wow, classic Filipina. Then I got to know her. Found out she claimed she was the half-sister of a lady I worked with in the 90s and I was actually friends with. Well, that half-sister, I knew she was a lesbian. She had told me she was. I was in some tryst with a woman. They went both in and bought a house, but she didn't put her name on the, on the title. She put a lot of money into that place. Now she's moved out. She put in thousands and thousands of dollars. The woman said, your name's not on the title. You left me, blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't let her get her stuff. It was ugly. Told you, women relationships with the lesbian thing is dangerous. So then, last December, because I was coming on to this Filipina, I liked her more than the white women in the room because she had a sweetness about her. She sends me a text. She's not really my half-sister. She's my lover. I'm like, oh, gosh. So I called my friend. I said, is this true? Yeah, I'm tired of it. She keeps texting you and flirting with you. I said, but are you sure she's really lesbian, or are you just trying to make her that way? Well, she doesn't even make love with me. Well, maybe because she's... Then it dawned on me. We had gone to lunch, all three of us. When the Filipina went to the restroom, she goes, what was it like when you married the Filipina in Hong Kong? And I told her. She goes, that's exactly what she's like. Sorry about all this. The thing that took the cake is it dawned on me she's doing what a lot of Filipinas do. She's an opportunist. If I hug this woman and spend time with this woman, I get free rent. So I'll play the lesbian part because it accomplishes my goal. I found that a lot of Filipino women weren't very strong and lacked backbone, lacked conviction on issues. They kind of just roll with whatever, the way the rolling goes. Kind of disappointing. The Filipina had so many problems, and then one day we're sitting in the break room, and she jokingly said, shut the F-U-C-K up. And I said, what did you just say? And she laughed sheepishly, and I said, you're becoming an Americanized. I still care for her, but she's ruined. She's 42 years old. She dyed her hair, frizzed it out, destroyed it. Dating sites are a waste of time. Even in the workplace, if you just watch women, man, and stand back, look past the beauty, take, as my cousin said, do you like a woman? Take the time to talk to her and talk. And pretty soon you will see you don't want to be with her. Women in this culture are under the influence of this culture, and you need to look at body language. I read an ad yesterday. A fat woman took a picture of herself in the mirror. You know, the stupid, cheap, hold up the camera in the mirror shots. She was big. She said, I'm independent, self-sufficient, and I wanted to write her and said, then you don't need a guy, do you? When you see that, run, guys. I'm sorry. You know, guys say, I don't want a clingy woman. Be careful. You want a woman who's fiercely independent, doesn't really want you? She just wants you at convenience. I want a man around when I want a fun toy or a cuddle. Males, there's nothing wrong in saying you want a woman, and women will make you feel like this high for that. I don't want a man who's clingy. Women want a take it or leave it relationship with a man. Women want what men have to offer, but they don't want to offer much to us in return. Dating sites are worse than a used car lot. Most of the women posting on there are lemons, and you're going to pay a huge cost to be involved with them. You will not get a reliable car. You will not get a good ride. You'll be taken for a ride, and you'll be grabbing the dash and pushing that imaginary brake going, oh man, let me out of here. What dating site do I recommend? None. Get off of them. We're wasting your time. Don't build a profile. You're too good to build a profile. You're more than a picture and some words on a page. You're a human being, and those women are not going to recognize your value, nor do they care. Sorry, I'm starting to believe that dating sites are just a tool of the devil now. Look at all the cynicism of the women that post, the attitude and the foulness and the in-your-face, rebellious, defiant, I don't want a man who's this, I don't want a man who's that. This isn't a sweet warm, passionate, sweet woman. Why are you giving her your attention at all? Write them off, boycott them all. And if, you know, I'm sorry to say this, but we live in an age of equality. Why are we men still being the ones that pursue? If a woman is interested in a man, she is going today to let that man know and drop off very clear hints. If you have to pursue them on dating sites, you better wake up to the reality that you're probably not going to find anybody. Why do I say that? If you're not meeting anybody now in your everyday world, even if you're not in the workplace, if you work at home, you go to the same places. You go to the laundromat, you go to the library, you go here. Who's that pretty girl that you smile at and smiles at you? Work that one. Forget the dating sites. That teller that always greets you with more than just the profession. Wow, so good to see you. She said, so good to see me. And as you're doing your transaction, say, you know, if you see a ring, say, you married? No, I'm not. You know what? Here's my number. If you ever want to do lunch, let me know. Drop it. Leave it. Drop it at that. And she never calls you, then you know she isn't interested. Don't waste your time with dating sites, men. I'm here to tell you, they don't work. You will end up spending your heart chasing somebody who really isn't worth your time. People ask me, well, why did you have such a problem with a Filipina in another country? Because as I got to know her, her Christianity wasn't deep. She watched media. She watched Wah Wah Wee and all the silly Filipino TV shows and American movies with violence and everything else. And she had an image of America that wasn't accurate. She thought all of us lived that good life with the expensive houses and all that. And I said, man, there's millions of Americans that don't reflect any of what you see on Hollywood. Her motive was suspect. She wanted to come to America. Her body language to me clearly said, I don't love you. She forced herself to play the part to accomplish a goal. Many Filipino women do that. Why? I'm 46 years old. I'm a domestic helper. I'm never going to go anywhere. And one day I'm going to be too old to do this, and I will be back to the Philippines living in poverty. It's very hard to differentiate between a woman really loving you for you or using you as an escape hatch out of her life of hardship. And a lot of men come to America and they find out real quick what the truth is. Once the Filipina gets used to American culture, once a bunch of men start coming onto her, once she connects and hooks up with all her other Filipinas that are already over here, most of you men are done. She will divorce you. She'll sue you for the house, the car, and then she'll move a relative over. I've heard a ton of stories like that. Are all Filipinos that way? No, but a lot are. That is why the U.S. does not allow them to join the lottery. I think is it 25,000 or 50,000 people a year that can enter or get a lottery, win a drawing to come to America and become, green card citizens, all that. Philippines is one country that's not on the list. Talk to immigration officials, they'll tell you there's so much visa fraud with Filipinas. They use the man to get over here, and that's why they make it tough. That's why my case shut down. She had applied through an employer in Singapore. Shot down. When I brought up the case, they saw her name. Haven't we seen this one before? Go back in the files. There she is. They look at my job history. Bus driver, factory, call center. And immigration says, boy, he's not making a big income. and he's tangled up with this girl. And he went to Hong Kong. How did he afford the flights? None of them knew I had an inheritance because you don't have to put that on there. They sent a message to the attorney saying, we need proof that he paid for this stuff. They wanted all kinds of proof. They wanted an unbroken chain of emails from when I started talking to her in 2008 all the way. And I said, I don't have them. I'd read an email, delete it. There were months we weren't communicating. Excuse me, or communicating via Skype. And I thought, man, the amount of evidence I'm going to have to get together. And then the attorney announced me, I'm going to start charging $300 an hour because this is extra and above and beyond what we'd agreed on. I had to make a decision, guys. I thought even after submitting all this evidence, it's probably not going to pass. I had already put out $2,000, and I made a decision to say, you know what, if God is in this, then he can open the doors for me to go over there. I'm done. Called her and told her what I was doing. She exploded in a rage. And that's when it hit me, you dummy. She kept telling you, you've got to have faith. Faith that it would work for her to get over there. Excuse me. I tell you what, my throat is becoming a pain in the butt. I've got to get out of Colorado. Didn't have this problem in Hong Kong. Didn't have this problem in Washington. So dry here. Plus, I got a cold, which compounds it. Thank you for your patience, viewers. I don't want to wait to be in perfect condition to do videos. My health is great. It's just I've always got this thing going on. When she exploded, it dawned on me. Back to her friend in Florida. She finally found a man she can get to America. It all came together. Do you know that I let my heart get so wrapped up in that girl? And I said this. She constantly says, you've got to have faith. Finally, one day I said, why is it that you tell me I have to have faith, but it's my bank account that's funding all of this? She got quiet. She kept saying, if you have faith, God will give you the desires of your heart. And she kept even saying this name it and claim it thing. And finally, my mind matured and I said, okay, you're a domestic helper. How come you're not living in a McMansion in the Philippines? What you mean? I said, where's your faith? Shut her down right now. I said, no, you can't manipulate God to get what you want. And then I realized she's manipulating you, Pacific. Wake up. That cute little brown-skinned bombshell is taking you for a ride. What was the difference between that and a white woman who wants something done for them and is all nice and sweet? Then when she doesn't need you anymore, talk to the hand. We guys need to wake up. We need to hone our skills at reading body language, our skills at analyzing the facts. How many women are coming on to me in this culture? None. So do you think you're going to improve your chances getting on a dating site? That's the lie. That's the little unicorn with wings on it that you're chasing around. Why aren't women chasing you? Is it because there's something wrong with you? Maybe. But more often than not the case. American women don't want nice guys today. They want guys with big bank accounts. They want guys that are GQ. They want what's in it for them. They're not interested in having fun with you and having a good time with you and connecting on an intellectual, emotional, and physical and spiritual level, all of those components. They're not interested in that. And by the time that they are, they're a 1966 Lincoln Lemon for $25,000, and they'll take you now because desperation and the threat of loneliness, they start looking at us differently. No, thank you. Before I cast my pearls before swine and you laughed at me, now you're sitting on the edge of the landfill, and now you want to be romantic towards me. You're a liability. Women, you're not going to like this. I know I'm not Mr. Hot Stuff. But you know what? My body's in good shape. No wrinkles. Everything's toned. I'm 47 years old. Why would I want a 47-year-old woman that's sagging and bagging and overweight, kids, loaded with dogs, smoking cigarettes, drinking cheap liquor every day, sip after sip, and your breath stinks, and you sit on the couch, and your house is a mess? Why? I'm energetic. I can go out and move mountains in the yard. I clean my bus. I do things. I'm a go-getter. They say that at work. You think I want to be attached to a 66 Lincoln that I can't even get started every day? When I married this woman in Hong Kong, she'd have Sunday off. Once, during Chinese New Year, she might get the week off, well, actually 4 or 5 days. She would sleep till noon every day. Wanted to get on Facebook and play Bejeweled. I said, you know what? We're going to Macau today. Let's go. Half the day, she laid in bed. Now, I understand she worked hard and all that, but still, she was not a morning person. She wanted to stay up late into the night. When she got off, by the time she got down to my place, it was 11 p.m. I'm tired. I've been up all day. She go, oh, let's open our Facebook. I said, I've been on the computer all day and you've been working. You can check it, but I'm going to bed. I made a mistake. I was naive about foreign culture. I was naive about her. But I saw the red flags, and I ignored them anyway. I can't blame anybody for the failure of that relationship. I was warned, don't marry her. Go over there, spend time with her. I wish. And even if I had spent time and realized this isn't going to work, Pacific is not going to immigrate a woman to the U.S. So if any of you foreign women like me and you think that there's a future with us, if you get yourself to this country and you come and knock on my door, we'll talk. A woman wrote me and said that she should pay half of the immigration, if not all. I agree. If you really want to get out of your situation, why is it the man? And she kept telling me this. That's your job. You're the American. You're supposed to pay it. Then I told her, I said, I'm working on your immigration. I paid this much to the attorney. I was open about everything. Even told her how much I had in my bank account. Thank God I didn't put her name on it. I couldn't anyway. The banker said she's not a citizen of the U.S. Can't put her joint. Can't do it. That was a protection for me. I said, could you start saving up for your plane ticket? I knew how much she earned a month. I knew how much she was spending on frivolous crapola. I said, you can take half your check, $200 a month, and in 10 months, you'll have $2,000. She exploded. That's your job. You're the one. I said, wait a minute. I've been paying to go see you, paying to marry you, paying to immigrate. You can't contribute anything? Guess what? She started saving the money, sticking it in her mattress. And one day she suddenly realized, wow, I've got a lot of money saved up. And she said, I think I'm going to go take a trip. I said, a trip? Oh, yes. The old thing. I've got a nest egg here. I really don't need him now, do I? Most women in America are not looking for love today. When they are, it's when they've hit the reef, they're a half-sunken ship sitting in the harbor or in the bay, and now they want all these guys to rescue them. No thanks. That woman now, that Filipina woman, she's 53 years old. No man is going to pursue her. She's aged very rapidly. She's still slender, but she's aged very rapidly. I had some friends that I had made in the chat room. One of them was a black woman. And when things were coming apart in Hong Kong and I was by myself all day, every day, I went back in the chat. I thought, shoot, I'm going to talk to my friends in here. Talked to a black woman friend I had in Atlanta, Georgia. She was much younger than me. And I said, I want to show you pictures of me in Hong Kong, and I want to show you pictures of her, and I want to talk. You're a woman. After telling her all that was going on, after showing her the pictures, she goes, you know, Pacific, she looks like a biatch. She goes, look at her face. I said, I know, I've thought that many times. My cousin saw that. Other people saw that. When I was in Spokane and I'd come back from Hong Kong, I highlighted all the great aspects of the trip. And everybody in the call center, we were in training, and then we had an evening where the trader said, you know, you guys got a couple of hours. I'm kind of caught up, but we have to keep you on the clock. Just go ahead and chat and hang out. Brought in the photos. Everybody's like, wow, you went to Hong Kong? And some guy was saying, yeah, I got on an online dating site and I met a girl here in Spokane, and he was saying what a big deal it was. I said, that's nothing. I met a girl in Hong Kong and the whole room. You went all the way over there for a blind date? I said, pretty much. They were interested. So I brought in the photos. There was one woman. All the other people said, that's cool. You went there. That's awesome. The guys were all high on that. One woman politely said, can I say something without you getting offended? I said, sure. She goes, look at the pictures, how you're holding her. You really are into her. But look at her. Look at her stiffness. Look at her face. I said, I know. She goes, I hope you're not going to pursue this gal any further. That was a white woman. The sad thing is, there's a lot of white women in this culture that aren't dumb, and they can teach us men some things. It's just too bad so many of them have attitudes and won't give us a chance. There is value in the women in America because they are smarter and they didn't go overseas. But a lot of them are smart enough and have that women's intuition. They can look at body language. They can look at a photo and go, she doesn't love you. That's where we need to tap into the value of women in this country. There's nothing wrong with admitting that sometimes women can see things we men can't see. Dating sites don't work for the most part. If you want hookups with gays and friends with benefits and smoking weed, Craigslist works because thousands of people are getting on there every day to do just that. But if you want a long-term relationship with a quality woman or a quality man, chances of that happening for the male and the female are slim to none. For all of the push, for all of the commercials. Why are commercials advertising on TV for the dating site? Because you have to pay to access those dating sites. You can register on it for free, but you don't get to respond to emails and stuff. It's all pulling on lust. The actual numbers of people that meet their perfect match on these dating sites are slim compared to the bummers and rejection and people that didn't meet anybody. Let's traffic in our world. Let's look around. Most of us are honest. We don't want the kind of women that are out there today. They need to heal themselves. They need to check themselves, and they're not doing it. Don't get on a dating site, pour your heart out to a woman, respond to her profile and say, I'm this, and I'm matching all your... Don't lower yourself and throw your dignity in the toilet for that. She ain't going to respond to you anyway. Chances are, don't cast your pearls before swine. I had to learn the hard way when I dated the Filipina in Hong Kong, and I married her. My fault. I know a lot more about the Philippines and Hong Kong now than I ever did. If I go back to Hong Kong this time, I will enjoy Hong Kong. I will dance, I will sing, I will take the ferry, and I will go play. and I have a couple friends over there that I will go visit. But to find me a wife, I'm done. There's women with money. It was rumored that a few years ago there were Korean women who had a lot of money and they didn't want to come to America, and they would definitely have visaed a man over. I thought, shoot, I wish I could have met them. But we got to stop. It's like playing the lottery or putting more money into that slot machine. The odds are not in your favor. They're just not. Gambling is designed to make money, not for you, but for the people who set up the casino, the Powerball. I saw a woman who was so old in front of me in line, I had to send money Western Union to one of my friends in Hong Kong. She gets stuff for me in Hong Kong. My medication for gout, I don't have any gout attacks. It's allopurinol. I can get it through her over the counter. Here I have to have a prescription because I don't have health insurance. You go to Concentra, they want to charge $250, $150 for the office visit, $100 for the lab, and then just to get a prescription for a year. And then I was just told that you can't just come in here to get prescriptions. Even if I pay, I'm like, this is stupid. Okay, so for now, I'll just order it in Hong Kong and have her send it to me. Her laptop is broken. She needed it fixed. I said, I'll pay for that. It's like $40. I thought, sheesh, that's cheap fix. Chinese are technological wizards over there. They can fix something. My cell phone wasn't working properly. Guy took it apart, fixed it, did it. I haven't had a problem with that cell phone since. And he charged me like $10. I was like, wow. Here in the U.S., rot's a rock, buddy, to get a cell phone fixed for $10. You might as well just throw it away and buy a new one. The woman's in line in front of me. I'm waiting to fill out my Western Union thing, and she goes, yeah, I want a Powerball ticket, please. I thought, man, she's how old and she's still playing and hoping to get rich? She looked like she was in her 80s. Gambling's pathetic. Why are we doing it with a dating site? You keep thinking if you throw the right combination of dice, you're going to get it. I think we've all agreed, man, that dating sites don't work. It's a lot of mental masturbation. It's a lot of frustration. You're casting your pearls before swine. And we've already covered this over and over. Today's women leave a lot to be desired. Why are we getting on there and playing right into their demonic infested little game? Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Meet people in your world. And if you don't, and be open to ethnicity, and don't be so steadfast on age. Just be yourself, traffic in your world, and see what happens. I've gone into thrift stores, and some young gal came up to me one day. Hi. She was putting stuff away. And then she said that she was dating some guy, and I'm like, oh, why is she coming on to me? But if women are interested, they will seek you out. They will seek you out. You don't have to pursue them via dating site. I know in the old days we guys were to pursue a woman, but you know what? Women have got to send off hints that they're genuinely interested in us. Because if they don't waste your time complimenting them or chasing them. If they're interested, they're not so meek and mild that they're not going to show hints. If a woman is interested in you, they will let you know. It will happen. But we men, we're chasing these women, and they know it, and they're laughing all the time. Man, all these guys are coming after me. I wouldn't date him. We need to stop empowering them. Say no to the dating sites. Black women, start doing yourself justice. Quit talking ebonics. Quit talking ghetto. And yes, a lot of black men are getting tired of you because you do have attitudes. And the black woman said, well, a lot of white women do too. Yes, they do. That's why a lot of us white men are getting tired of white women. But I don't know how women can look at themselves in the mirror and be proud of their attitude. I don't get that. Don't tell me you're liberated. Don't tell me you're enlightened. If you're so enlightened, why are you so defensive, so angry, so attitude, so foul? That's not freedom. Seems to me that you're in some sort of bondage. And why are we men chasing you? I don't want to be in chains with you. This is Pacific, signing off. Bye-bye.